David, another week, another coming and going in terms of Steve Cook arriving at Field Mill. Your thoughts on him first of all?
Good defender, and will give us competition for place, but certainly a very able young man.
I was going to say there are a lot of competitions in that back for places in that back four now. Where do you see Steve fitting in?
Well, it gives us ultimately, I spoke to in depth to the people at Brighton, but it gives me a natural cover at right back, which is obviously what we haven't had. And if Gary was injured, we're obviously putting in and filling the hole with a square peg. So it gives us natural cover there. But likewise, the young man's equally as able to go in at centre half if was asked to do that job.
Possesses a long throw, according to Louis Briscoe.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's a decent enough throw, but another part of the game that you obviously you want to be able to bring into an element, if you like. But no, he's a tremendous young player. Knows what the division's about as well. He's played in it with Eastbourne, and I felt he's acquitted himself very well, which is why I brought him to the football club. Comparisons
made already this week between Steve and another young defender connected with the football club, Tom Naylor. Where do you see Steve in relation to Tom Naylor?
Comparisons from who?
His age in terms of his position as a defender.
Well, no, Steve's a natural right back as well, so Tom's not a natural right back, David. So I don't know who's made them comparisons. Perhaps people a little bit wider than the mark there. Tom's a centre half and would be out of his depth at right back, so I don't know who's made those comparisons.
In terms of your side then for this weekend, what team news can you give us first of all in terms of injuries? Have you got any knocks that you've suffered during the week?
Yeah, well, Keegan's he's had these stitches in his foot. He had a slight setback with that, so that's had to be redressed. So that's obviously very unlikely that he will be able to be part of the programme at the weekend. Mark Priest, he is having an operation, we can confirm that. And obviously Alan Marriott's had his and he's in recuperation. So those boys won't be, very unlikely that Keegan will be part of it, which is frustrating, but there's nothing we can do about it.
What options have you got up front then?
Well, young Lee will come in, obviously, to the fold as well. Obviously, with the ability to add maybe one or two extra subs, it helps you in the FA Cup, David. So we'll see. We'll look at the formations. Robert Duffy, his hamstring. Last week he wasn't available. It was a tough one to juggle, if you like. But he's come through a week's training, and hopefully it'll be available for the weekend.
Lee Gregory, who has connections with FC Halifax, spent time on loan there.
Yes, and well thought of. I spent Tuesday night at Halifax, and he's well respected up there. I mean, he did a good job for Neil, and I'm sure they'd like him back at a further date if they could. But we're delighted he's going to come into the fold now. He's a young man that's still learning about the conference, but equally he trains very well, and he'll come into the fold now. So if we have to go with the younger element, we will do.
One thing that you've mentioned to me already this week was that you wanted your side to be clinical and finish your side off. That's an aspect no doubt you'll be looking to see on Saturday.
Yeah, I think every manager wants that. We looked at the video of the Darlington game, and there were so many positives out of it. The boys looked at it and addressed it, and certainly know that we made enough chances to have won plenty of games, but it wasn't to be. And in front of goal is where we've got to be a little bit more clinical, as you say.
From your comments this morning, do I get the sense that you're prepared to rotate your squad this weekend?
If necessary, I see how we train, but certainly I feel we're getting towards a squad that's very strong and very determined, and the players are determined to go out there and put on a performance that will hopefully get us through to the next round of the FA Cup.
FC Halifax, how much do you know about them?
Well, I've done my homework, as you'd expect. I went up and watched the game on Tuesday night. They put in a very strong performance. Fantastic setup there, really good setup, and very welcoming people. I enjoyed the game against Bradford Park Avenue, and certainly I felt that they acquitted themselves extremely well, came out victorious on the evening. We go up there in a positive mind.
They have a fantastic record at home, stretching back not only over this season but the season past as well. How much has that been on your mind this week?
On my mind is that we go up there and make sure we don't give them an invitation to what can be a difficult draw. It's one that they will see certainly getting back to. They go back over the last few years. They're not far away from having a fantastic and a unique situation where they can bounce back as soon as they can. But no, I mean, I've got ultimate respect for their manager and certainly for their football club.
The FA Cup, that's why the game's taking part, but how much does the FA Cup mean to you, David?
Yeah, I had some fantastic personal achievements in it, but I want my players to achieve as much as they can for our football club and our fans, and there's certainly it gives a respite from the league, but certainly for me the FA Cup is one that you want to go as far as you can in.
One of your favourite words to use over the years I've been interviewing is pragmatism. Being pragmatic, this has to take a back seat to the league though, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that. I spoke to Mr. Radford on Monday, and he wants to do as well as we can in every competition. He echoes my thoughts. So being pragmatic is not something that's a concern this week, but it's a case of dealing with those options once we get out on the pitch and making sure that we're going out there in the right frame of mind and looking at it in a positive.
Would it be a worst case scenario to have a replay Tuesday night, considering the league game that you've got on the horizon?
We'll deal with that, David, as it comes. I'm not worried. If it is, then so be it, because we're going up there, and as you've rightly said, they're very strong home record, got some exciting players. But I want my players to go out and enjoy the FA Cup, and that's part and parcel of it. The fans will go up there, and certainly I'm sure that they'll be in good voice again. And the following of Halifax, I was very impressed with the way that their fans supported their side, and I came away looking forward to the weekend.
You flagged it up already this week, but important to get back to winning ways and get a W next to your name on.
That'd be nice, David, of course, but we're not far away, and there's been elements the margins that have been so tiny recently. We may need a slice of luck at times, but the boys have come out of the games with credit. The way we played, the football that we're playing, I'm very pleased with. And again, as we've made slight changes, the changes have been made in a very progressive manner.
There you go.
Pleasure.
David, I know this time last year you talked about the FA Cup, and not just from a kind of traditional point of view and the fact that the fans enjoy it, but also from a revenue point of view. Is there any less importance now, given obviously John's takeover, or is it still?
We haven't discussed finance, to be honest, Matt. And I know that when I was at my previous club, I brought in a large amount of revenue for them in cup success. I don't look at it that way, but I do know it helps. I look at it from a team point of view in a professional manner. Is that when you are at perhaps a club that looks at the finance of a cup run, and we've seen it over the years how much it can be a benefit to smaller clubs, and perhaps even for championship clubs right now, going into the quarterfinals and semi-finals can be hugely beneficial. So I think all along the pyramids of football is that teams want to do well, directors will want to do well for the finance, but managers want to do well for progression, and they're two different elements that you have to look at.